What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I built a mile with that yank hard yesterday, Skip.
All right, cool. Welcome back to the start of the dialogue. You feel me? Me and Thabiso, we back with another pod. You feel me? We want to talk about how Arizona messed around and got Ayton for cheap. They only get that man $100K. You feel me? That's a bargain. Ayton need to get a new agent because that man should have got a few more zeros on that paycheck from Arizona. You feel me?
Yeah, he's worth at least $1 million. Probably $10 million, to be honest. Like, if the league was just like some type of like free marketing franchise where like you just bid on players, bro, he would be getting $15 million at the minimum.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They be throwing money at him. That's an interesting. Hey, talk more about that. Like, technique you were saying for like.
Oh, like, I'm just saying, like, say
the
it was
draft?
like a free market. Oh, wait, what happened?
I was just saying, like, yeah, keep going.
Oh, like, if it was like if the league was like a free market, so there was no cap, and every team would just throw money at players, just like basically a bidding warfare, bro. That man Ayton would have been coming out straight out of high school getting that 15-20 mil bag.
Yeah, that sounds lit as fuck. I mean, it sounds kind of fair. I mean, yeah, that sounds dope.
That is kind of dope, low key.
Because most of the good teams already won't have too much cap space to spare, so.
Yeah, they gotta like conserve their money. So if it's just like, I'd probably help out a little bit, like teams that like are like a different disadvantage in.
I feel like sometimes that could be so bad though and like so annoying. I feel like it could be sometimes. Because I don't know what if like
it would be a lot harder to form an actual team too.
What if there's like a
like
what if there's like a weirdo or some shit like Market Force is like I say guess Market Force is nice, he'd be like, I want to go be a backup for the Warriors, and I'm like, what?
and they just throw $1 million at him.
Yeah, bro.
Like you like, hell no, I don't want to play in fucking Atlanta. Like, let me get that Warriors chip.
Oh God, what if Ayton was like, I can sacrifice money. I want to win a ring. Niggas would be so mad.
Bro, that'd be crazy. It was like, I want to be a 15-time champion.
Oh God, bro, niggas would be mad, bro.
You imagine that? Like Steph, Clay, Draymond, KD, and Ayton. Jesus Christ.
You gotta worry about Warriors fans on Twitter crying about Zaza no more, at least. Like, bro, you niggas are nice, bro. And they can complain about that one player, bro. Like, chill. Y'all have like 50 wins and shit, bro. Calm down.
I'm goddamn wild.
They spoiled.
I'm read. But yeah, so today's video we were going to talk about the NBA draft. Obviously, we're talking about Ayton. Clear cut number one option in our opinion for the draft. Yeah, I mean, speak more on Ayton, bro. What's your thoughts on him?
On Ayton?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think he's a lot. If you look at his numbers throughout the course of the year, the man is averaging. Where'd it go? One second. Man is averaging 20 points, 2 blocks, 36% from 3, 61% from the field, 74% from the free throw line, and about 33 minutes per game. That's complete as hell. That's crazy. Those numbers, that's not normal for a college player to go along with his build, his already NBA ready body. It just is not. It's a lot. Even though I wish we could have saw more of Porter, because I feel like if we got to see more of Porter, it probably won't be a lot, because I think that kid's gonna be special. So I mean, but from what we have as of now, Ayton is definitely a lock for number one. Even though I feel like that could have been different if we had a healthy Michael Porter Jr.
Well, I mean, I think regardless, I think Ayton has by far the higher ceiling than Michael Porter Jr. just because the way he's built and his physique. He's at like 7'1". He moves so fast, and especially with how much he's improved as the years progressed. I mean, just his touch around the rim, his mobility, and you really have to worry about him from everywhere around the court. By no means is Ayton a 3-point specialist, but you can't leave him open out there because he can't hit those. I think offensively, he's a powerhouse. Defensively, he's good. I think defensively he'll come along as his instincts progress and as he gets used to how defensive rotations are in the league. I think he'll become a better defender as time goes on. But offensively, that man's a demigod. Porter's build also. Porter is also built like a demigod too, like 6'10", 6'11". Handle with the ball. KD-like game in him. I think Ayton would have probably secured that number one, and it would be interesting to see where Michael Porter lands during this draft because of the injury and because of the bad game that he had while being essentially. I think that was low key like a rush back. He took like 17 shots. That was a lot for a guy who's just coming back off a back injury.
I agree. It doesn't. Moving forward, as long as he's good, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I expected him to be rusty. I wasn't like, I'm not going to judge him off that one game. I don't really care about. I expected him to be rusty, so I'm not really tripping.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't really expect much from him either. It was coming off the injury, so not too much. I didn't have too much expectation on him in that game. Obviously, he's gonna have to make it up in the combine, the breakouts, and moving forward. But I'm pretty sure from what we've seen from Michael Porter, he's more than capable of doing so. But yeah, man, Ayton's definitely worth that 10 mil type bag, bro. Arizona stole him.
So, bro, they got that man for a bargain, bro. Ayton need to get a new agent. I'm telling you, bro. Everybody was outraged, like $100K. I'm like, that's all? That's it? That's all they get that man?
That's what I'm saying,
rip off, bro.
$100K.
That's worse than
a G League player, bro. $100K.
That was worse. That was worse than
100K Lithuania money, bro. He ain't no Lithuania player.
That was worse than when the Warriors had Steph for like $10 million. We had Steph for like $10 million under that unanimous MVP season.
Oh yeah, because of the bubble ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Ayton definitely deserves more of a bag. And he's gonna be stuck in a rookie contract bag too, so he's not gonna be getting paid what he's worth in value. Looking at the NBA draft lottery right now, basically it's a battle between obviously like 5 teams in terms of odds: Sacramento, Atlanta, Orlando, Phoenix, and Memphis. Of those 5 teams, where would you want to see Ayton at the most?
Well, I don't want to see him at the most. I feel like pretty much out of all those teams you named, he could help off. All 5, honestly. Name one more time. Name the teams.
The Grizzlies. You have the Suns, the Magic, Atlanta, and the Kings.
All 5 of those teams, honestly, except for what? Aren't the Kings high on Willie Cauley? I don't know where that's going.
I think the Kings are pretty high in college time.
Then maybe outside of, unless you can't play them together. They're both too big. So probably every team outside of the Kings will probably just try to do whatever they can to make sure they get that first pick. Yeah. The Suns got to make Booker go missing. You feel me? Atlanta just shut down.
They lose Booker, so it don't really matter.
You're right, but just to make it even more clear cut, you feel me?
Yeah,
the Hawks got to ship Schroeder out with the flu for the rest of the season, some shit like that.
They already sat down Bazemore for the rest of the year with the bruised knee. It's the funniest rest injury I've ever heard in my life.
It's the tankathon, you feel me?
It's a month left in the season and he's out with the bruised knee for the rest of the season. Crazy shit. In my personal opinion,
elite tanking.
These 5 teams. The dopest to see him in would probably be the Suns, just because that Devin Booker, Josh Jackson, that young core could use a guy like Ayton. When I look at a team like Memphis, they need to restart. They need to start rebuilding. It's going to take them a couple of years to really accumulate accumulate any type of pieces. Put around Ayton. Also, they have Marc Gasol, and that's a heavy contract. I doubt they're going to be able to get rid of that, especially with the production he's put on this season, which has been pedestrian at best. Definitely not worth the money he's been getting paid for. Orlando's also in a sloppy situation. Their main focus is trying to secure Aaron Gordon too at the moment. It'd be dope to see Aaron Gordon and Ayton play together. I guess that'd be pretty beast. But Orlando's had their problems developing players or getting players around others. And by no means can Ayton, as crazy gifted as he is, I hyped down today's NBA. He could pull off what Dwight did for the Magic during his run.
You say you think he can do that?
No, I don't think so. I think he's gonna be. I think being in those two teams, Memphis and Orlando, kind of puts him stuck with what's it called? How Anthony Davis was like a couple years ago, where it's like he doesn't really have the pieces around him. I don't really trust those two organizations. I think Atlanta's been dope. Obviously, they've established that they're rebuilding. He'd be a dope landing spot for them, and Phoenix as well. Those are two would probably be my favorites out of those 5 teams.
Yeah. I can pretty much agree. Even though for the most part, I feel like he would make an immediate impact. He would help. I mean, all 5 honestly is pretty much a toss up.
Most definitely.
Outside of the Kings, probably if they want to build not want to go double down on the same position.
I mean, they did it last time. But that was because they were pretty much done with Boogie Cousins.
Yeah, you're right.
But they were pretty much done with Boogie, though. But I mean, even if you don't end up with Ayton, you can end up with Michael Porter. Michael Porter would be more fitting with a team like Memphis, if you ask me. And then you get you got a Marvin Bagley as well. And then you got Luka Doncic, and then you got guys like Trae Young, Colin Sexton, Bamba, Jaren Jackson. I mean, it's a pretty solid list of guys that any of those 5 teams could really use, especially. And Cleveland's going to end up with one of them, it looks like, if Brooklyn secures that 6-7 spot. It looks like that's going to be Brooklyn's pick as well. So it's going to be pretty interesting seeing what happens moving forward. But, yeah, I would say that Phoenix especially for Ayton would be the dopest spot for him to land.
You think so?
Yeah. If they get the right coaching culture too, I think that would be pretty dope. Josh Jackson make strides this year. He started off ass. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's bad. But he's definitely picked it up in terms of offensive production. Devin Booker is an offensive phenomenon in the league. Basically. He's been shooting out the gym this season. I think if they could secure a guy like Elfrid Payton, maybe, or maybe just because who would they? They don't really have a other point guard, probably like Tyler.
Yeah, they don't have too many point guards. That's why I thought they
brought back Elfrid Payton.
Yeah, Elfrid Payton trade was good. I like the Elfrid Payton trade they made. That was for a second round pick. It was hella cheap. I don't know. The Magic was wild.
That was hella cheap. Yeah, I think Phoenix moving forward would be the dopest spot for Ayton to land of those teams.
Yeah, I see why.
Yeah. Is there any other prospect that you are really high on, though, of the other guys?
Really high on. I'm not too. I mean, outside of those two, Ayton and Porter, because I haven't really kept up with anybody else too much. But I know a lot of people were, I know for sure, were high on Trae Young.
Yeah.
he's putting up crazy numbers. Like his overall averages, even though he has a lot of games where he disappears.
Yeah.
I mean,
27-9 is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. Wait, what you say? You said he played like his my career? That's accurate. And a lot of people, I know some casuals and some people, they think that's a good thing. Like, you'd be like, oh, he played like a my career? Oh, nah, that's not a good thing at all. Because my careers play no defense and they just stand there and they want to chuck up threes and just score all game. That's not a good thing, though. Playing like a my career is not a compliment. Let's get that. That's because I just wanted to clarify that for some people. It's not a compliment at all.
Yeah.
My players are lazy as shit. They don't do nothing but force up shots all game and force assists.
Yeah, by no means is playing my career. I just got to see how, because a lot of it too could be how Oklahoma wants it played. So obviously, like if Trae Young is by far their best player and the other guys are good supporting cast guys, they're obviously going to try and force feed the ball to Trae Young. My thing is defensively, he's awful, damn near. I think if he's gonna be standing at that stature of 6'2" and not the frame he's gonna be, he has to at least be active. And I really would love to see Trae Young move off the ball too, which is what puts Steph Curry miles ahead of any other guard in the league. Part of that's because the Warriors are just so good at playmaking. I guess the system around it, I don't like to really term system, but even without it, I mean, Steph Curry is so like, you have to worry about Steph Curry off the ball just as much, if not more, on the ball. And I think just that constant movement, it gets offenses moving as opposed to just standing there as soon as you make the pass. I would love to see Trae Young more in off-ball situations as well, just being more willing to pass up the ball. Because, yeah, he plays like he's trying to get limitless range on Hall of Fame.
He's trying to grind for his badges.
He's out there badge grinding. Hall of Fame limitless range.
And that's what I don't like the Trae Young Steph Curry comparisons at all. A lot of people think just because he can pull up from 35, that comparison to Steph Curry.
Yeah.
But people got to realize, I mean, putting up from 35 isn't like, that's part of the reason why Steph is like he's really as good as he is, but like it's deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than just being able to shoot from 35. You look at Steph, overall his IQ, just his whole approach to the game is deeper than a 35-foot jumper. So I don't like the Steph comparisons really at all, honestly. But I still think he could probably be a really good offensive player in the league, potentially one day. But I don't see his ceiling being too high. Like, I don't see his ceiling being anywhere near Steph Curry, if I'm being.
No, I agree. If there were any play style that I would think Trae Young kind of fits more into, is Westbrook. But instead of athleticism being the main strength of the player, it's more of shooting. They kind of remind me of the same thing. They're high volume, high usage rate guards. Need the ball in their hands in order to create for you, and they haven't necessarily shown that they do much without it. And defensively, they're pretty lazy, just not active. The difference being, I mean, Westbrook can get away with being lazy a bit more than Trae Young can because Westbrook's 6'4" and he can jump out the gym. So even if he's like 10 feet away from you, his shot contest can still kind of alter it when he wants to. Regardless of whether it's a lazy defensive possession or not, I think his leg closeout would be more altering by far than what Trae Young can do with his stature and his athleticism. And just, yeah, I mean, when we talk about Steph Curry, I mean, even defensively, Steph Curry is a lot more active than people give him credit for. Maybe he might get scored on. I mean, who doesn't get scored on? I mean, maybe on a little more consistent basis. He's not the best on-ball defender, but his activity and his willingness to even be out there trying to guard you makes it a lot more valuable to a team's defensive scheme than just not being any sort of threat defensively.
Yeah, of course, he's definitely active. Didn't he lead the league in steals a year? Or top 3 or top 5?
Probably like top 5, I think.
I'm pretty sure he was way up there.
And it's not just the steals.
Yeah, I know.
It's also deflections too.
Yeah, deflections. He isn't a bad on-ball defender either.
just being a pest.
Yeah,
Defensive.
but defense has sort of like if you aren't athletic and like I don't know, yell at people when you get after you get and ones and stuff, people are gonna assume you aren't a good defender. That happens a lot in the NBA, and it's kind of it bothers me a lot. But people attach defense to like
The
narratives of
athleticism.
like yeah, athleticism and just like emotional, and
Yeah,
just all that stupid shit like that. So most people will assume you don't play defense, or even if you light skin like Curry or like even Lonzo. A lot of people think Lonzo isn't. They'll assume he doesn't play defense just
well,
because
you're just an idiot if you don't think Lonzo's a good defender. Lonzo's so good defensively. It's
exactly.
crazy.
But I see a lot of people, even like when I'm scrolling through replies and stuff on Twitter. Even though I know it's a lot of trolls down there, but some people be
Yeah.
dead ass. I mean, come on now, bro. Like,
Like they just, I mean, at that point, you just know they don't watch the game and they say Lonzo bad defender. I can kind of, no, not really. Actually, I don't think I could understand like Steph Curry being a bad defender narrative either. He's not great by any means. I do think some analysts overblow how good he is defensively, but I think he's good defensively. Like he does everything. He passes the prerequisites, especially for the guard position, where it's a whole lot of guards and that you got to worry about every day.
yeah, definitely. He definitely is. At the least, he's average on defense. At least
At
the,
least
the minimum. The minimum.
I
I call
wouldn't be
him
mad if you
average.
were saying he's average. I think he's
Yeah,
good. Me personally, I think he's good, but average. I wouldn't be mad at anyone saying he's average, but anything trying to belittle Steph Curry on that side of the court, it's not valid.
I agree. What's wrong with your Spurs? How come they can't? How come? What are they? 10th seed right now? As of right now?
They're the Tennessee as of right now. That's not my team though. Kawhi, my guy. Y'all don't like my guy Kawhi. Shouts out to Kawhi. This team's ass without you, bro. It's not ass entirely. They could beat teams they should beat, but they can't compete.
Hasn't Aldridge been in and out of the lineup all year though?
Yeah, he's been in.
I think that also plays a huge role too. Was he?
Well, lately, it's been lately.
What's wrong with him? He isn't just resting, right? Wasn't early in the year weren't they resting him a few times?
I have no idea. I think he was just on and off on the court. But earlier in the year, they could sacrifice that. Towards this side, I don't see why they would try and rest him. Their schedule is a lot tighter, and it's a lot harder than it was the first half of the season. I think they're up there in terms of difficulty. I think that's what it is right now. They just played OKC the other night too, and then they went on to play Houston. It's nothing easy by any means.
Isn't?
I don't know. I think it's. I don't know. I have no idea what's up with LaMarcus right
Honestly,
now.
if I had to call it up right now, I don't think the Spurs will make the playoffs because I feel like it'd be too tough for Kawhi if he does come back. He's not gonna go from not playing 0 to 100. We're not gonna see Kawhi at 100%. I highly doubt we see him at 100%. They old Aldridge is in and out of the lineup. What do I think it'd be like? What the first time in 20 years or something like that they don't make the playoffs?
Since they drafted Tim Duncan.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah. Wait, what year did they draft Duncan? Like
97.
Yeah, that's when I was born, bro. 20 years ago. So like, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. What was I about to say? But yeah, and I feel like, I was gonna say, and then they won't make the playoffs. Hopefully once they realize that, they probably rest Kawhi, leave him out for the rest of the season, and then they probably do the same with Aldridge. They'll drop, and then Spurs in the lottery is a scary sight. That's a scary sight for the league.
Yeah, right now they're protecting the lottery. In my opinion, I think the organization messed up by not really changing, not necessarily the culture. I don't want to say the culture. That's not the way I'm looking for. But in the off season, they decided to keep the older guys that clearly were liabilities to being a contending team, like Patty Mills. Keeping Patty Mills and paying Patty Mills that much, paying a guy like Paul Gasol.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And letting guys like Dedmon and Simmons walk, who were key valuable players as well last season, letting them walk for nothing. I think they made bad bad free agent moves towards the off season. And yeah, I think that's playing a key part because now you're seeing that this team's not as deep as they once were, and I think part of that is just having to let go. I mean, they still rely on Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, those type of guys. It's just it's over. You gotta refresh, adapt, and rebuild. Especially when you have especially when you have players like Kawhi and LaMarcus Aldridge. It can't be just those two guys. You need even just fresher legs around them. I can understand you having Tony Parker and Ginobili around, but to rely on them to make veteran plays for you late in games, like DeJounte Murray should have had the starting position. I don't understand why he just got the starting nod after the All-Star break, where now it's like, well, now he has to adapt to being a starting point guard in the league on a consistent basis.
They were starting Tony Parker before?
Yeah. And they would even give Patty Mills more minutes than him. And they still play Patty Mills late in games, which I don't understand why. He doesn't do anything but shoot. And if he's not going to make his shots, then there's no reason why he should be on the basketball court.
They gave him, what, $50 million, and they gave Powell like $40 million, something like that?
Yeah, they get something around there. And then they re-signed LaMarcus Aldridge, which wasn't bad, but I think they should have made moves to go younger or try and get their timeline a little bit more fresher and more upbeat. And if there was an organization that should understand that you need to adapt to times, it should be no other than the San Antonio Spurs. I think we overrate the front office a little bit as of late, just because of the stint they managed to have while Tim Duncan was still around towards his later years. But if they want to adapt completely, they have to realize that they need to refresh and get a new core of guys who can fit into their culture and adapt to whatever the principles they want to bring to next. Their offense is just still so sloppy. They don't really have anybody that can create their own shot.
Just like Rudy Gay been out.
Marcus Aldridge. And then Rudy Gay's been out too, yeah.
Jesus.
And that was their best signing. I think part of it was robbed by injuries, especially obviously Kawhi only playing 9 games this season. But I think part of that could have been avoided by them just by at least maintaining the couple pieces that were solid in your rotations last season, that were younger, and not keeping the older towards the back end of their career pieces.
Yeah, I agree. The Spurs, hopefully, I mean, like I said, they'll probably be able to bounce back next year if they're healthy.
Almost
plus the lottery pick. But I feel like this year is a wrap. GG. Spurs will probably miss the playoffs for the first time in like which just established for like 20 years. But I mean, yeah, I didn't expect this coming throughout from the beginning of the season, but I also didn't expect all the injuries. So I mean,
yeah,
shoot.
I'm not sure. I'm not ready to call it a GG yet.
You're not. I am, bro. Because I don't think if Kawhi does come back, he's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be Kawhi after all that rest. Aldridge is going to consistently be in and out of the lineup.
He came back the first time,
and they don't have any lineup.
Like that. I'm just looking at the Western Conference in general, and I mean, any losing or winning streak, even if just 2, can get you the 5th seed. We're raving about Anthony Davis on the Hoops and Brews pod having his team at 3rd seed. They're 5th. So I mean, anything can happen within the span of a week or 2. I'm not ready to call it over for them. But even if they do make it, they're out of there in the first round, no doubt. And it's for sure a season where they have to now understand that now it's time to remodel the faces of the franchise. They have a DeJounte Murray to build with going forward. They have a Kawhi Leonard still. And they even have a LaMarcus Aldridge who's not 35 years old, so he can still produce. You just need to revamp a little bit in terms of your role players, at least. Danny Green's still a solid piece as well, but I mean, they just gotta do better finding pieces to put around their system that are younger and more energized and that can fit into their scheming a bit more. And
Yeah,
they need to do better in free agency because I'm sorry, that past offseason that they had in free agency was awful. Damn near.
that was bad.
Was
Also, I think Jalen Rose reported, earlier that Kawhi was upset with stuff like that they can't get no talent around that man.
Because the best thing they got was Rudy Gay, and he was coming fresh off an Achilles tear.
Yeah, that's tough. They're not gonna compete with a championship with this roster. Or I don't think anybody else they could potentially sign. So I mean, I don't know. The Spurs aren't really. I mean, they're gonna be in that. I mean, they might just because they know how to win in the regular season. They might be able to get that top 3 seed again next year or for whenever.
Yeah.
But I don't see them as championship contenders anytime soon. Honestly.
I think even if you gave Pop sort of like how the Trailblazers are right now, when they have backups, younger guys like Zach Collins, you have a Pat Connaughton, you have a Shabazz Napier. I think if you were to move in that route as opposed to having older players around you, I think that benefits the team more, and it would give Kawhi more to work with.
I agree.
In terms of competing. Because if you look at the Trailblazers right now, obviously you have Dame and CJ, but the thing that goes without speaking is how the role players so far have been contributing to that team's success.
Yeah, I know the Spurs they lack a lot of that, and I don't think they have enough.
And even last season, they were so top heavy just because the older guys couldn't give you a lot on a night-to-night basis. It took Tony Parker to the playoffs to play at a good level of basketball for a guard. That alone should have been a sign that what we need to do more going into the season, because we can't just rely on Kawhi and maybe Marcus Aldridge on most nights to lead us to 60 wins and to get us into the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I agree. The Spurs, I don't know, man. I'm banking on a strong bounce back next year, but just a wrap this year. That's just that's how I feel.
I can see why you'd feel like that way. It's definitely not looking good. We just gotta see how the rest of the teams managed as well. If the Jazz keep up their streak, get themselves into playoffs, get themselves into the 7th to 6th seed, even with this push that they're making, the Clippers maintain and hold on. They've had a couple solid wins lately. Even if the Timberwolves don't hold on, or even if say something alters around, you still have the Nuggets that you're behind right now. So it's a lot. It's definitely a lot that they would have to overcome. I definitely don't think Kawhi is going to come back as Kawhi Leonard, especially having to get his legs under him. We saw that when he had to play the first 9 games. He wasn't as well as a shooter as he's been.
Exactly.
He was in his last 2 to 3 year stint. He's a 38 to 40% 3-point shooter, and he came back from 31%. Obviously, he needs more time to get accumulated in games, and
Pop, Pop likes to take it slow. Probably gonna bring him back averaging like 15 minutes a game or some shit.
Yeah. I could see why you'd say this year's a wash. They're 2-8 the last 10 games. Offensively, this team is putrid on that end. And if they're not slowing you down defensively, then you pretty much have them beat.
And especially without Aldridge, man, they're just sad out there in San Antonio. And it's weird to be saying that because it's really weird to be saying that actually. Yeah. About San Antonio, that's crazy.
I feel like it's actually better that they try and miss the playoffs and get them the lottery pick, as you said earlier.
Exactly. I feel like once they come to the realization that they don't have it this year, they'll even like try. I mean, they'll even like blow it up even more towards the end of the year, and then hopefully they can get them a decent lottery pick. And that's just, I mean, if they have legit, I mean, if they make it legit, then they'll be good. All they gotta do is leave Kawhi out and then keep doing what they've been doing with Aldridge, and they'll keep losing, and they'll work their way up into the lottery, and that's a scary sight for the league.
Yeah.
Spurs in the lottery. We ain't seen that in a minute.
Yeah, we've been seeing the Spurs in the lottery. They've been doing good late in drafts and getting European guys as well. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Yeah, it's for sure ugly in San Antonio. And I know you guys don't really like Kawhi Leonard and everything like that. It's cool, but like this team, I mean, even if we're not just talking about what there could have been projected this year, the fact that they're on a pace to not make the postseason after being a second place team last year, that's a huge fall off, and it gets called out with other stars. I think Kawhi should have the same recognition.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
They'll be all right though. It's the
yeah.
Spurs.
Your boys in OKC now the 4 seed. How you feeling about that? What's your take on it?
I mean, I want them to start losing. Actually, they creeped by another lottery team. They just barely. Then they beat the Kings by like 5.
Yeah.
Westbrook got his 99 triple double, 99 triple double, something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, Paul George been struggling lately? He going on his typical regular season vacation where he just decides to struggle.
Just play like ass and go
Even
fishing.
But I mean, it looks like they're probably gonna. I mean, them missing the playoffs. I mean, it's possible, but I highly doubt it. Just because all the talent they have, they'll figure out a way to get there. Even though I don't like them. If they get like, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they got a first round exit. That's probably what's gonna happen to them. But I mean, I don't really. The OKC, they didn't live up to the expectations, and then next year Paul George is gonna leave. They're gonna be stuck with Melo and then Ski Mask Hall of Fame. Grand Theft Auto. Carmelo gonna opt in to average 12 points next year. So I mean, man. OKC is sad.
Secure the bag, John Hall of Fame.
OKC is sad. I don't really know what else to say about them.
Shouts out to Melo, working on that scoring craft that nobody else works on. I've seen it put in work. I've seen you put in work this season. I see it definitely benefiting the team, bro. I see you with your isolation plays, your hezzies, your jab steps. It's a little bit different that you're not doing it on no traffic cone, but hey, it's all good. I see you, bro.
I want to see a matchup with like the Blazers in the first round if they can't get the Warriors or the Rockets. I feel like they'll lose to the Blazers, bro. I feel like I would take the Nuggets over them in the 7-game series, probably. Pretty much,
I would go on to say, low key, if Rudy Gobert is gonna continue to play the way he's been playing, I think I could take the Jazz over him.
You think so?
I think so.
Jeez, that's tough. I don't know about the Jazz. But any team out there that's in a playoff hunt outside of like
the difference
Spurs,
between the Jazz and
I'm not sure about the Pelicans.
Just defensively. Defensively, Utah's higher than the Nuggets are.
Yeah, the Nuggets are offensive juggernaut.
Yeah, kind of like either way on that one. But I think with the versatility of Rudy Gobert being back to the court defensively, you might get a mix up. You might get a highlight play on Rudy Gobert every now and then. That's not gonna stop him from trying and putting the effort. And the other 10 times he does make the right play in the game, I think that's a game changer if you ask me.
I'm
talking about Gobert.
Oh, Gobert. Okay.
You might put him on the highlight reel once, but the other 15 times he makes the right play or he's there sticking with you goes without speaking.
He's definitely a top 5, top 10 center in the league for sure.
Yeah, top 5 behind Ayton, maybe.
Ayton.
Ayton top 5 center in the league right now. My thing with the Thunder, they had a couple good. They got the job done where they were supposed to do. This stint of games that they were supposed to win, they definitely got the job done. I didn't think they were going to get the job done against San Antonio, and they did that. So props to them. Paul George, get off that vacation, dog. You got to chill with that. If you're going to come into LA next season, bro, we don't need you to be taking those kind of breaks, bro. That's dead. But right now they're at 40 wins. Their schedule gets tougher, so it's going to be interesting seeing how they play. I'm pretty sure they got a few more primetime games left, so you know how OKC show up in prime time. If this team, however, say they don't secure that bag and they end up having to go on the road in the playoffs, say they fall into the 6th seed, I'm not comfortable with them winning. I don't think they get the job done if they don't secure home court advantage and they don't play a team like the Pelicans or the Timberwolves.
I agree.
I think the Blazers can give them run for their money, and I don't think they want to play against any of these younger guys such as the Jazz or the Nuggets, where they have the momentum and going into the playoffs, and they're coming in with high what's the word I'm looking for? Adrenaline rush and just aggression. And any what's the word I'm looking for? Any shift that goes into their favor in games, they're gonna pounce on it and take advantage. And I think if they don't let ego aside, and if Westbrook gives us another playoff performance like he gave us last year, I know everyone falls in love with the triple-double theme, but he sold out a lot of those games late game situations. And if he continues to do that, and these younger teams pounce on that opportunities, I think that would be the death of them. That would lock them in under the first round exit. I think they need to do a good job from here on out securing home court advantage, or even just the 5th seed. I think if they fall any lower, if they match up even with the Blazers, I think the Blazers can get them out of there in 6 or even 7. In terms of home court advantage, and that's not going to be a successful season by any means. They need to make sure the season ends in success. Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about Westbrook All-NBA as well. My opinion also, if he falls into like that 6th, 7th seed, I'm not sure if I'm giving him an All-NBA team this year.
Ooh, I do. Hello?
Yeah.
Who are we on?
Oh, I was saying if Westbrook at the season ends today, I'm not sure if I'm in the season. I mean, the season ends and they're like 6 or 7 seed. I'm not sure if I'm giving them All NBA status.
I like that. I like in general, like on no team, like not even 3rd.
But it's because I look at it. I mean, even if you don't want to give the spot to Chris Paul, and if Oladipo finishes with more wins to conclude the season with the number, I mean, his numbers aren't too shabby either. If he concludes the season while say he attains 47 wins, that far exceeds any expectations they had on the Indiana Pacers. And if you just look at the roster compared to how Paul George had it last year, it's really nothing that changed aside from switching Jeff Teague and Corey Joseph, and then you switched in, and then you brought along Sabonis. And if this team gets to 47 wins, and if the Thunder are the 6th seed at 45, 46, or even 47 wins themselves, I'm not sure if that really validates Westbrook's case over Oladipo's. I'm pretty sure he would get it over a guy like Oladipo, but I wouldn't necessarily agree with the decision wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I can somewhat. What guards did you have over Westbrook?
Well, right now, I think we have to have Stephen Harden as locks for first team. I would take Kyrie's season. I would have Dame's season, and DeMar for sure needs to be in one.
Yeah, that sounds.
So there's really one spot, and if you don't want to go to Chris Paul, and Oladipo is kind of hovering around that area as well, I think Westbrook would probably get the nod just because that's how the NBA works. He's averaging almost a triple-double. They're going to look at that and say triple-double, let alone be there. But I think in terms of team success, what the team has been this year, what Oladipo has had around him, and also just looking at the efficiency and the fact that the Rockets are having this top-notch record-breaking offensive efficiency, especially in isolation situations, just being able to pick apart mismatches, their whole scheme of things. those two factors, I'm not sure if Thunder don't reach the expectation of being the third or fourth seed at least. I think that kind of hurts Westbrook's case, in my opinion.
I know, especially with all that help surrounding him, and everybody was talking about how give Westbrook some help, get him some help, and now they're on pace to
Everyone
win.
had this team over Houston.
A lot of people did have that. A lot of people had
this team over Houston. A lot of people said Chris Paul couldn't work with James Harden more than they said Westbrook couldn't work with this group of guys.
A lot of people said that.
And if you're not gonna reach expectations and even go as so far as being a 6th seed in the Western Conference, and if Oladipo, even if he gets the 4th seed, but while winning 47 after being projected to win about 30 games according to ESPN.
Yeah, I know they definitely have underachieved this year. For Westbrook, the reigning MVP, he underachieved all the narratives they attached to him last year, and everybody reminded me, always saying, "Get us some help! I need some help." Just so they could do the exact same thing over and over again this season with the amount of wins and just the bad shooting nights, and it's a mess out there. And they secured Westbrook, so that's a W for the city in general, but the NBA, the talent-wise, over there, and just their future is just not looking so good. They lost Roberson, and they just plummeted defensively. So, it's not looking so good. They're probably going to be a first-round exit this year.
Because this roster is better than an Indiana roster. This roster, I know people don't want to admit it. I know people are going to cry about it. But this roster is better than a Portland Trailblazer roster, a Pelican roster.
Definitely on paper.
Especially with DeMarcus Cousins out. I know people don't really think highly of these other guys, but Grant and Adams are really solid players in this league. Whether people want to admit that or not, that attributes to their help. I know Carmelo Anthony has sucked this year, but on paper, that's considered help. And yes, to a certain extent, especially in the Carmelo situation, it's on him to perform better. Russ hasn't been all that great either himself.
Yeah, isn't he almost averaging a triple-double though?
So I guess that would validate him being great. But no, I wouldn't give it to him personally. I wouldn't be mad because I understand the whole narrative and his status in the league and how he's viewed around the league, but I wouldn't agree with it. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is
man, damn, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, OKC, they'll make the playoffs. That's my final clue. They'll make the playoffs. Probably be a first round exit, depending on who they get. And they'll underachieve. And Westbrook is going to send another elite small forward to the Pacific Division.
Oh man. Moving on though, I wanted to move on to the Eastern Conference. First I wanted to recap the Rockets and Raptors game. It was a phenomenal game. I'm pretty sure you didn't catch it. I caught the second half of it. I want to say I caught starting the third quarter. Yeah, I caught the third quarter of it. Wow. I caught the third quarter, and the Rockets were down big. They're down like 15. They got off to a rough start. Second half coming, James Harden's going crazy. James Harden's hitting step back threes and 4-point plays and everything. And it was interesting. It was real interesting seeing how the Raptors managed to, even though they were pushing for that comeback, Aaron Gordon started to get a groove of things. They didn't let them.
You say Aaron Gordon?
Oh, Eric Gordon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't let him basically secure a W, whereas a lot of teams would have folded and just would have taken that L. Guys like Van Fleet stepped up. He was putting pressure on the ball handlers. And just that fourth quarter in general was really spectacular. I guess I wanted to go on air and saying this Raptors team. I know we want to rely on history so much, and I know that in hindsight, it's a whole lot easier to go based off what history has said about the Raptors. But looking at this team, in my opinion, just depth alone and the style of which they play makes this team so different from previous years.
So
I
you
think
believe in the Raptors this year?
that's hard to say because obviously LeBron's LeBron, and I think the league would have way
Cavs
like,
stink.
but the league would go out of their way to make sure the Cavs get in the finals. I don't think anybody that's not a true NBA fan, like all the casuals that are out there in the world, and it's obviously business attains more to casual people than NBA heads, but I think the league will try and go out of their way to make sure that the Raptors don't make it to the finals. So I don't believe that they'll win a series with the Cavs as much as they stink. But I do think this team is serious. I think this team's been way better than they have been, and I don't know. I'm hoping DeMar Rosen doesn't turn to Corey Brewer and Kyle Lowry don't turn to Tyler Ennis in the playoffs, because if they play the way that they're supposed to play basketball, this team's carry. In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a believer though, just because I like history and that shit just happened way too many times, where they go way below what they do in the regular season, come postseason. So it's just I'm not a believer until I see it.
Yeah.
So um, I don't. The Cavs stink. So I mean, if the Raptors could somehow transfer their regular season success into postseason success and just continue to play the way they play now without some weird breakdown in the
Yeah, I agree.
playoffs, I could actually see them. I can kind of actually see them beating the Cavs
Yeah, I can see.
or the Celtics or any of those teams. But I don't have it happening just because of we've seen it too many times year after year after year. Remember 3 years ago, whenever what I was just saying like maybe it'll be different this year, but no. Come playoff time, DeRozan shooting 35% from the field, Lowry shooting 40% from the field. I mean, I just gotta believe. I gotta see it first before so I can believe it. Even though they are playing really well right now.
I see I see where you're coming from. I think a lot of that in terms of personnel changed a lot because I think, and obviously playoff rotations minutes cut, but I think the way they utilize it, it's almost as if I hope they don't cut it so much, and it's just because they have so many X factors on that team, like Jonas Valanciunas. He's getting older. He's getting like 25 now. He's not 23 no more like how he was 2 years ago, where they lost to Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals in 6 games. A lot of people tend to forget that they were Eastern Conference Finals team to begin with.
Yeah, they had a great regular season that year too.
Yeah. Jonas is older. Serge Ibaka can be an X factor. Van Fleet has proven he can be an X factor. CJ Miles can hit threes when you need him to, and just the ball movement. The court looks more fluid, and I think this would mainly tie into why, in my opinion, Dwayne Casey should be coach of the year. Just the decision to change up the offense has been so pivotal into how the success that the Raptors are seeing currently, and I think the fact that they've proven that they can keep up with the Warriors and the Rockets this season in terms of the games that they've played against them. Although I don't think that obviously they wouldn't beat either one of them in the 7-game series, but I think that this team is for real. If there were a team in the Eastern Conference I believe in as of right now, as of what I'm seeing, all like bias and history aside, and also just me taking into account that I'm witnessing their improvements and seeing them evolve as a basketball team and as basketball players, especially DeMar DeRozan, how much of playmaking has stepped up, and as well as not more to say just shooting the ball, but being willing to shoot the ball from behind the arc. I think those changes in their games, because this is different from the first seed Isaiah Thomas Celtics team, where I'm looking at the roster. I'm just looking at the guys that they have to rely on, and I'm just like, well, obviously, like LeBron should demolish this team. and there's nobody else that can really pose a threat to anybody on the court, I think this team's different just because of. I mean, and obviously that would depend on DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry showing up, which I agree with you. I agree with what everyone says on that aspect, but I think also you have to take into account that this team changed from last year or 2 years ago. This team, I mean, they play different. Hello, you still there? Oh,
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am.
I see. Um, but yeah, in terms of Toronto, I think this seems serious, and it they might not beat Cleveland, but I think a 6 or 7 game series where you have a couple of games that are pretty exciting here and there, they make it hard for LeBron to. It's not gonna be a cakewalk like how it's been in previous years, and especially if Cleveland keeps playing the way they've been playing as well.
I mean, I agree. Wait, we said comparing Cleveland to who?
Oh no,
Oh,
I'm
talking about
saying
Cleveland the Raptors. Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm saying like if Cleveland plays the way that they've been playing.
Yeah, hopefully they get Kevin Love back, even though he won't solve their defensive issues, but he'll
Yeah.
take their offense up to another level.
Yeah,
So we're gonna see how we're gonna see, man. Because right now the Cavs they suck, man. Without LeBron, they're probably like the worst team in the league. To be honest, they are bad. They had the same issues they were having pre All-Star break with the no energy on defense, no energy on offense. Nobody's talking.
yeah.
Nobody, man, it's just bad. So I mean, they look real vulnerable, really beatable right now, despite it, even an amazing LeBron James performance. So that's one reason why I'm kind of opening up to the Raptors just a little bit more than I normally would. But time will tell. Plus, the Celtics are isn't there half their team out right now with injury of some sort?
Their backup center, Thabiso, or however you say it, he's out for the rest of the season.
I know. Smart just went down. I know Kyrie dealing with knee injuries. They just lost Jaylen Brown to that horrific head injury, concussion. I think is what they called it. Was he being pronounced as? So I mean, shoot, it's kind of opening up for the Raptors, man. I just don't. What we seen,
right, huh? It don't roll off the tongue right, huh?
what we seen year after year, I don't see any reason for it to really stop. Honestly,
Yeah, it just don't roll off the tongue right. And some players, but I think how we view James Harden and how I think if we're gonna give Harden that benefit of the doubt and the chance to show up again and really like actually
Harden is
compete,
different.
and
That's completely different to me. That's different.
why do you say that?
Because Harden, like I've said, his postseason, like those bad games, it's kind of overblown. It's not like the Rockets, bro. It's not. I mean, it's like the Raptors.
Maybe to a lesser degree, but there's definitely been performances where DeMar and Kyle Lowry have played well as well in series, but they've also just shit the bed to almost basically worse extents than Harden has. Like talking about DeMar DeRozan, before this game he had 0 points. He had 30. Or not 0 points. Not 0 points
back to back.
Was it 0 field goals made or was it 0 points? I can't remember.
Either way, it's terrible.
Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from, but I do think that same narrative can apply this year. That's just me, though.
So Harden?
Yeah.
Plus, Harden's not.
I mean, Harden's a god, and Harden's better than
Harden's on a whole different stratosphere than
and the Rockets' offense is on a whole other stratosphere compared to those two. But I think in the Eastern Conference, obviously, it's not like the league's the best of 16. So I think separating the conferences, I think the storyline can apply. So I think just because the Raptors don't have to see anybody but Cleveland, I think the same story can apply.
To Harden?
Because Harden. Well, right now Harden's in a harder conference in the West.
Yeah, I mean, his team is obliterating the conference right now, though. So, I mean, I don't. The West isn't too hard this year. I wouldn't say it's not. I mean, it's.
Yeah,
I mean,
I understand where you're coming from, but I'm just saying like in the weaker conference of the two,
yeah, but
and
I don't think it's that
just I mean,
drastic of a
because
difference.
maybe, but I'm just saying like in terms of like who you see in the playoffs, and I think obviously maybe it might be like to different extents, but I mean I don't know. I mean we'll just have to wait and see.
Yes, we will.
Any other topic you want to hit up on?
Shoot. We can recap the Lakers Cavs game. Did you catch that?
Oh no, yeah. I didn't see the game. Was referring it. You could give the summary and the synopsis of the game.
All right, cool. It was a high offense, a lot of offense. LeBron was putting on the show in the first 2 quarters, a little bit of the third quarter. Lonzo did not show up. I mean, Lonzo, he played. He was I mean, he still had his name, but I think he had like 7 assists with no turnovers, something like that. I could be wrong. I know it's somewhere around the lines of that. Overall, it was a pretty good game. The Lakers started to pull away early in the fourth, late third, I believe, somewhere around there. LeBron had some really cool highlights. Did you see that? I know you saw that flashy pass he threw.
I saw all of them.
That pass was crazy.
That
One hand. Did you see Famous Lowe's video? He was like, he threw it like a tennis ball. How you put your wrist like that? It was still a bullet. I was but yeah, it was an entertaining game. Randall was insane. He just controlled like the entire game. I think the Lakers really got to start letting Randall handle the ball more. I think because he's such a threat. Because he can pass, he can get to the rim whenever he wants. The jumper is a little suspect. I mean, he's pretty suspect actually, but he did knock down a few jumpers against Cleveland. So, but I just think they should give him more of the on-ball duties. And I love when he grabs the ball in the break and pushes it up. There was one sequence where he got the stop on LeBron at the rim, grabbed it, Euro step through the lane, and then kicked it out to Caldwell Pope, who's been insanely good at basketball lately. He hit a 3. So just Randall just making so many progressions in this game. And then we have KCP. I think he had like a cool 15 on a really high percentage that game. Brook Lopez has been playing like Brook Lopez, the guy I thought we traded for originally. I mean, everything's clicking, even despite the fact that all the injuries, the Lakers are clicking. For the most part, I think they're 7. I don't know, they're for sure they're 7-2 since the All-Star break. Those 2 losses,
yeah,
tough. But I mean, yeah, it was a good game. Who else? It got he got his little get back on the Cavs. Kuzma said he was talking trash to him the whole game on the bench and stuff. So it was a good game to see. I'm glad they could pull the win out. The Cavs look like like I said earlier in the pod, they have similar problems to what they had before they made the trade. What I thought they was going to switch up, but it's kind of the same thing. No communicating, no defense.
Larry Nance getting lit up by actual players that can play at the big position this time.
Yeah, but I'm not even gonna roast him about it because he's undersized. I mean, Brook Lopez is a lot bigger than him, so I kind of expected Brook Lopez to kill him.
I agree with you, but the narrative that people were giving Nance on that end of the court was awful. I mean, they were considering him as like a really, really solid defender. That's not necessarily the case. He's just more like an energy club guy with a spark plug badge.
Yeah, he's just a dunker. It ain't too special for him. I
like glass cleaner.
I really hated how once that trade first happened, they saw like 2 good games from Clarkson and Nance, and they wanted to act like they were better than some role players. But I mean, it's all right.
Yeah, I agree. They started making the cap for those 2 players with such high potential. I never really understood that whole narrative to begin with. Obviously, their ceiling is where they're at right now.
Yeah, I'm still keeping that same energy. The Lakers won that trade by a mile. Clarkson was out there dribbling the ball, the whole shot clock. Step back jumpers hitting all backboard and shit. Looking like vintage Clarkson out there, you feel me? That shit was tight.
Shouts out to Clarkson, though, because I know Clarkson can hoop. He's a hooper, but yeah.
Whatever, bro.
I don't mind the trade.
Clarkson is tight, though. I like him, his personality, his swagger and shit. But he's a very tradable player.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree. He's a
Yeah.
tradable player. Just in terms of like whether you would have your guys to keep around, Clarkson was not one of them. I would trading Clarkson would have been cool. No matter. That's cool. Don't matter to me.
Exactly. Yeah, but overall, just a really, really good game. Randall probably had the best game of his career.
Yeah,
36
most
points on
definitely. Most
14,
definitely.
14 or 18 shooting, 36 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists. It was just a beauty to watch. The man was like, he was just controlling the hell out of that game without even shooting a three. He was just, man, controlling the game. What else happened? Anything else noteworthy? Alonzo missed the dunk. That shit was, that shit was funny.
I tell him about how he missed all the side, but side of
Oh
back.
yeah, I mean, Lonzo was wide open in the corner. He was like, let me hit, hit the side of the backboard, but that shit had me dead. It'd be so funny because the Staples Center be getting so hyped when he about to shoot threes. But the Staples Center gets so happy when he shoots threes, bro, and then to see him hit the side of the backboard, but I was like, oh. They'd be like, ah. When he shoot, when the ball in the air, they'd be like, oh. Like, oh. When he hit the side of the backboard, he was like, oh. That shit is hilarious. But yeah, it was an entertaining game. The Lakers had a lot of defensive breakdowns. What's that nigga name that LeBron threw that dime? Was it Zizic? I don't know who that dude is. Wherever he is, the big white dude who LeBron threw that one dime to. He had like at least 5 open dunks that game. Like they were doing a bad job switching.
Yeah, that was for sure a bad job. That was a terrible defensive play. I don't know why both of them went out on cover like that.
They just didn't communicate. In that situation. But they had a lot of like defensive breakdowns like that where that Zizic dude and I think a few of the dudes, even Larry Nance, had a few wide open dunks. And they're gonna have to fix that because they played 2 of the top offensive teams in the league. And this week alone, I got a back-to-back against the Nuggets and the Warriors. So that's gonna be tough. And if you're gonna be having mental lapses like that, you can't afford to have them against them teams because they'll fuck around and put a 140 on your ass. So I mean, so we just gonna have to fix those little mental lapses, and we should be good. But it was an entertaining game, and hopefully Lakers can keep it rolling against the Nuggets and the Warriors.
Shouts out to Julius Barkley, man. You a god. Get that man his bag. Don't call that man either. Give him what he needs. I don't care who try him. Mark Cuban, throw whatever you want to throw at him. Mark Cuban can't throw money right now. He need to worry about his allegations.
Yeah, he need it on me. Everybody keeps saying the Mavs is gonna offer that bag.
Worry about your allegations first, man. You had like tough situation with your rapist and everything, or sexual assaults, whatever. Yeah, go worry about that. Fix that up. Go pay the host little bag. Go give him that bag. Don't touch Randall. You can give him that bag.
Oh me.
I don't want to see Brooklyn trying to throw money at him either, because Brooklyn be trying to finesse people. Brooklyn be like, "Hey, we're gonna throw $30 million at Otto Porter. What you gonna do? You gonna sign? You gonna let us have him?"
That's crazy because Randall is definitely better than Otto Porter, bro. So that's why I'm scared.
Really though.
That's one. I'm scared, bro. Niggas gonna offer. I'm scared, bro.
They're gonna throw that $30 million back. I'm about to fight somebody.
I'm
scared. I hope the Nets trade for like Evan Turner or something, so they don't cap.
I think isn't that cap already fucked up? When they got Moz got on their boards, that's $16 million. They got Crab, that's about another $16 million. They got Otto Porter, that's $30 million. They got DeMar Carroll, that's another $16 million.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but
the Magic can't. Never mind. The Magic can't because they gotta worry about Aaron Gordon. Hopefully, the team just go for Aaron Gordon or something.
Oh God, bro, hopefully we can get lucky. Because my dream scenario is just Paul George and re-sign Randall, and then with a bunch of fillers, and maybe bring back a Lopez cheap, maybe bring back KCP cheap. But I mean, I don't know. That's the best case scenario for me.
Yeah, I agree. Even if we don't sign Paul George and say maybe we bring back IT, I'm not mad at that. Just bring back IT and Randall. I'm not necessarily mad at that if that happens.
How much would you want to pay IT?
Not a lot.
Like how much?
I don't know.
Like 15 million, 12 million?
15, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, say 15 fair. I don't want to give him no bag like that.
Of course not. Fuck no. And I don't think any team would really throw a bag at him at all, honestly.
I hope not. Maybe like the Knicks someday. The Knicks don't have a point guard. Yeah. Maybe like the fucking Grizzlies or some shit.
I like Ayton. I'm an Ayton guy. That dude is dope, bro. To me, I don't know why he looks so funny on the court to me because he's so fucking short.
And the way he walks too, and like just the way he tries to carry himself. Hey, like
it's really crazy.
Bro looked like he had a bad hip his whole life.
It's really crazy to me how last year he just dominated the league like the way he did. That's wild to me, bro. Being that small.
That's so crazy, bro. He basically gave niggas 30. Get a nigga John Wall 53. I couldn't imagine nobody thought I'd give anybody 53. Gave one of the best point guards in the league 53 in a playoff game.
That's wild, bro. He really dominated the league last year being that short. That's crazy. That's wild. Props to him, bro. I fuck with him, bro. His personality and shit. He's a cool dude. I like the way he moved. I fuck with that.
I think they took his tendencies to try and insert himself as a leader the wrong way in Cleveland. I think that was part of the problem. They wrote it off as an ego thing. I don't think his ego's all that bad.
I don't think so either. And it was a combination of that and just the fact that he had to get his legs back under him.
Yeah. I'm just talking about like off the court in general. Like I don't think all the off court issues were entirely based off him being egotistical and because he's a competitor and I think he's realistic with where he sees himself. I don't think the way he sees himself is anything like how Melo sees himself. I don't think it's anything like outlandish like that.
Yeah, I get you. I'm an IT guy, man. I wish him the best.
Same here. He's solid, bro. I wouldn't mind bringing him back for like 18 mil.
You said how much?
Oh, wait, like 15 mil.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay him too much. Anything else you want to touch up on?
Can't think of the notes. Wanna wrap it up?
Yeah, we can wrap it up then.
Wrap it up then. It's like this is another pod coming at y'all. You feel me? A little on the recent NBA topics we just wanted to throw out there.
Yeah, you can catch us at Podcast Dialog. Check out the Twitter page. Trying to get that more active.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Shouts out to HoopsNBrews, Brand, bringing us in.
Yup, once again, shout out to Daniel or Zotan Podcast. I like that a lot. I like what you got going over there.
Yep, most definitely. You can check us out on the HoopsNBrews website as well, HoopsNBrews.com/dialog. Check out my personal Twitter if you don't want to. It's _TSL. Check out the homie Joe's too. Joe can go ahead and plug it in.
Yep, at the Jolts, 2 S's. Let's get it.
Hey, y'all can subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to. TSL. Y'all can subscribe to it as well. Any other plugs? Oh, homie said shouts out. I had to shout his name. So shouts out to Cross Court. Open gym runs. They keep stats. 20-minute half games. It's a lit concept. People just sign up, put in 10 pots. So shouts out to them over there. Any other plugs?
No, I ain't got none.
Nah, no plugs. So we're gonna hop on this Fortnite, wrap it up, yo. Yeah, we're out of here, yo. Peace.
Woo.